Today we are playing this budget blue-white heroic Fliers deck in Standard. Let's jump in and check it out. So we are playing 4 rares in this deck. We're playing 4 copies of Ledger Shredder. It's a 1 in a blue, 1/3 flyer. When a player casts their second spell each turn, it connives. The great thing about this card, though, is it is a multi-format all-star. Spending these 4 wild cards is a really good use of them. You'll play this card in lots of other decks, in Explorer and Historic if you play those formats as well. So when this rotates, you're not going to be sad that you spent 4 wild cards on Ledger Shredder. Awesome rare. We're also playing 3 copies of Faerie Vandal, so 1 in a blue for a 1/2 flash flyer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then really what the deck is built around are these 2 creatures. So we have 4 copies of Illuminator Virtuoso, 1 in a blue for a 1/1 double strike. When it becomes a target of a spell you control, it connives. And then we have 4 copies of Stormchaser Drake. So 1 in a blue 2/1 flyer. When it becomes a target of a spell you control, draw a card. So we're just going to play a bunch of instants that target these, draw us a bunch of cards, keep them alive, and bash our opponent with giant double strikers and flyers. So let's go through the non-creatures now. We have 4 copies of Homestead Courage, 1 white, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains vigilance until end of turn, and you can flash it back for 1 white. We have 2 combat research, so 1 blue. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We have 3 Fading Hope, 1 blue, return target creature to its owner's hand. If its mana value is 3 or less, scry 1. And then we have 3 copies of Spell Pierce. For 1 blue, we get to counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. And we also have 3 copies of Security Bypass, 1 in a blue. As long as enchanted creature is attacking alone, it can't be blocked. And it has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, it connives. So we get to grow our creature, and then hopefully sneak through a giant double-striking Virtuoso. So this is a great 1/2 punch, Security Bypass plus Virtuoso. And then the protection spells. So we have 3 copies of Loran's Escape, 1 white for an instant, target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, scry 1. 3 copies of Shore Up, for 1 blue, target creature gets +1/+1 and hexproof until end of turn. And then we have 4 copies of Slip Out the Back. So for 1 blue, we get an instant, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it phases out. What's great about phasing is when an opponent tries to remove your creature on your end step, you tap out for Slip Out the Back, you phase out your creature, but then they don't get to target again until your next turn, so you'll get to untap and have more protection available. Lastly, the mana base, we're playing 9 islands, 7 plains, and 4 of the basic tap land. Very quick upgrade here would be to swap in 4 rare dual lands so they come in untapped. Since we have a lot of 1 mana instants, the mana is pretty intensive in this deck. So the tap lands are a little bit painful, but they suffice. They get the job done. The deck definitely operates without the rare dual lands. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 1. This looks good. We're going to want to draw a 3rd land, obviously. But this looks like a decent start. And again, we want to try to pass with protection up, but here I'm okay with using having a Ledger Shredder eat removal if they have a cut down. So I would rather them remove that than a Virtuoso, which is exactly what happened. So hopefully here we'll get to draw a land. No such luck. So I think we still play it, even though we don't have a way to protect it currently. Hopefully this thing will survive until our next turn. No such luck. Still no land. So I think we have to pass here, unfortunately, because we can't afford to lose another Virtuoso with all of this stuff in our hand. Getting a little bit unlucky here. We are only playing 20 lands, so it's not unreasonable that something like this could happen. Would love our opponent to just play a creature so we could scry and try to hit that land. So this does have Ward. So not a great card to use a Fading Hope on. But we can discard a Homestead Courage. Oh, this is interesting. That actually kind of works out. So we get to Fading Hope this, and that actually will give us a scry as well. And there you go. We'll keep that on top. Pass to us. Play a land, and we'll play the Virtuoso. And then if they target it, we get to Slip Out the Back. Okay. Think we'll let this go through. We'll take our 3, and then we're going to bounce the Obliterator. We don't get to scry, but that's okay, because now we get to go combat research. We'll connive and discard a Homestead Courage. And then I think we're going to play a Homestead Courage as well. And this time we'll discard a Loran's Escape. Since we have 2 spells already, we'll just bash them for 8. Draw a card. Okay. Another 4, draw a card. Nice little combo there. Okay, and now we have to pass because we have to keep this creature alive. And we do have 2 slip out the back. So if they try to remove it, we can... Okay, so... sack a creature. But now it's like we don't have the creature in play. Yeah, phasing is a little bit confusing. I think we want to keep that. So we'll discard the land this time. Phasing is quite strange. So they can't attack. No. Okay. So here, well, they really want to... They have to chump block us. I guess they don't have to chump block. I wonder if we should... Let's try to hit our can't be blocked card. I'm blanking on the name right now. But let's just go ahead and do that. So, go to combat. Assuming they chump block. No problem. And then, again, we're just going to keep this thing alive. So we're going to slip out the back if they try to do anything here. We really need to... security bypass. There you go. Just blanking on the name. Security bypass to get through our opponent's blockers here. We're obviously not going to attack into that. But we could also phase their creature out. Yeah, I think we're going to do that because they tap out here. We're going to phase this thing out. And then we just have to target this one more time, and that's game. So they're phased out. They can't... Yeah, there you go. That was a cool game. We have to mulligan. No threats. We have to have a creature in our starting hand. I think we'll put back Spell Pierce. I think I prefer Fading Hope over Spell Pierce, not knowing what we're playing against. Okay, opponent playing Mulch. Okay, and then we'll play Ledger Shredder. Going to destroy that, sure. Now here we get to play Drake, keep up, slip out the back, pass the turn. Let's see if we can't start getting some attacks in. Okay. Play a land, we'll hit for 2. Play another one. And pass the turn. If they have like a Brotherhood's End or something, we'll just get to slip out the back one of them, which would be alright. They tap out for like a Sholdred or something. We'll just probably bounce it. Let's see what's coming. Sure, so -2, so we're just going to slip out the back. Draw a card. We lose one of our creatures. We get to keep the other one. So now here, let's hit for 3. And I think we'll just keep our mana available. We'll Faerie Vandal and keep slip out the back available. Opponent returning a Flesh Gorger to the battlefield. Has Ward. So here, do we bounce it and pay the life? Probably. Probably worth it. Kind of okay with that. Yeah. little ridiculous, but this way we keep all of our mana available to us. Or we keep the beatdown going, rather. So here... Let's hit for 4. play Virtuoso, pass a turn. They can just straight up cast that Flesh Scourger this turn, if they wanted to. Okay. Now, which creature do we protect? It's probably the Virtuoso. Yeah, we'll discard Drake. And the Scoop. Okay, I'll take that. I don't think they were quite dead yet, but pretty close. We're going to mulligan this. No creature in the opening hand. This looks good enough. I think we'll put back... Let's put back one of the Homestead Courage. And we'll start on our tap land. Reinforced Ronin, so it looks like we're up against some kind of black-red artifact deck. And we'll play one without protection available. If they want to remove it, that's okay. Okay, Oni Cult Anvil. That is your turn. That's cool with me. Excellent. So here, we're just going to attack. And let's get this Faerie Vandal online. If they play something really good, we could Spell Pierce. But I think we're likely just going to play Faerie Vandal. Fine by me. If they do play 2 spells this turn, we will discard a Homestead Courage. Okay. They get their trigger. We'll go ahead and flash this in. If we have some instant speed removal here, that's totally fine. Okay, nothing. So we get to untap. I think we'll put a counter on... Not really sure. I think we'll put counter on Ledger Shredder. And then hit them for 3. Since we have Vigilance, we can block the Ronin. And we'll pass the turn with Spell Pierce available. Okay, so no removal, I don't think. Or, I mean, perhaps they're playing around my Spell Pierce, but I'm not sure that you can afford to wait for me to tap out. Yeah, you can. I'll take the 1 here. Might be a bluff, but that's okay. In case they only have like a deal 3 or something. Sacking the creature. It's interesting that they keep leaving mana up. Let's go ahead and play our Homestead Courage. And we'll play another one since we do have Spell Pierce, and we'll get to Connive here, and I will discard probably the Ledger Shredder, depending on what we draw here. But yeah, let's go ahead and discard Ledger Shredder. Get to pump our creatures. They've got Vigilance. And we'll hit for 7. So we only have 1 protection spell available. But we also have Spell Pierce. If they try to play like a board wipe or something. Okay, Synthesizer, all good. Burn down the house. So we just have to get 2 more counters on the Vandal. And we get out of range of that. So that only deals 3, so that's not good enough. But that does enable an attack for them. They want to deal 3 damage to each creature. Okay, that's not an instant. Neither of these are instants. Transmogre can't block. We get to discard this. They get to grow their Patchwork Automaton. That's 8 damage. Okay. Well, this would be 9. Let's do it on our turn. We have 8. Fading Hope their creature. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna... I don't think it matters, but they're tapped out. We bounce this thing. We connive. We discard a Spell Pierce. And there's our 11 damage. Good game. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for future budget decks just like this one. We'll see you next time.